Hello everyone, this is Neeraj here. Hope you guys are keeping safe as we are getting out of, I think, when the pandemic is easing off a little bit, and then the restrictions are easing off as well. Weather is getting better, that's we get to hear, but at the same time, real estate market continue to put a pressure on the pricing. Last year, around about same time, I'm gonna go over the numbers. Today, I'm gonna share my screen. But last year at that time, we'll notice that the average house price was about $1 million in the GTA. This year, it's actually get to a 1.3 million, which is a $300,000 price appreciation in 1 year. It is obviously bonkers, as with the name, we can say that. But having said that, let me start sharing the screen with you so that I can discuss the numbers with you. And we're going to talk about a little bit about a new stats, or we actually added in there to more analysis we're doing on, so that for all of us to understand the market a little bit better. So without any further ado, let me start sharing my screen with you. Here you go. Right now, at the get-go, you'll be able to do GTA market stats and average sale price in the GTA, which is 1.299, which is, mind you, this is all property types, and which is an, like, 28% appreciation year over year. Number of unit sales, when you look at it, it's 14,719, which is year to date 17.7% less than as compared to the last year. Average days on market is 13, which is, as again, it's less because of the properties are selling faster, 27.8% less as compared to last year. Months of inventory is like less, just I think over 3 weeks of inventory, which that means that if you're first time hearing this, that if no more inventory come in the market in just 3 weeks, we'll run out of all, like there'll be no more homes for sale in the GTA. When you talk about all total number of sales, the condo market, when you look at the average sale price in condo, 799,000, which is up by 24.5%. But if I'm going to talk about a little bit on the condo market in the GTA, and specifically Toronto as well, total number of unit sales 2,772, which is less 11% as compared to last year. So let's talk about Toronto specific. Toronto specific, the average sale price is a 1.15, which is up by 22.6%, and number of unit sales 5,482, which is 14.4% less as compared to last year. 14 days in average days of market, which is all less by 41.7%. Condos are 822,000, which is up by 21.5%, and condo unit sales 1,842, which is less 15%. Um, so I want to talk a little, as I said, I'm going to talk more about that. But before that, let's go over a Mississauga stats. Mississauga average price in the month of Feb was 1.199, which is 25.9% more as compared to last year. Number of unit sales 1,368, which is 17.2% less as compared to last year. 9 days is the days on market, 47.7% less. Obviously selling faster. Condos selling 736,000, which is, on the unit number sold, like 314, which is less 1.3% as compared to last year. Now we're talking about one of the, sorry, I'm just gonna talk about this one first, at a Brampton market. Now in a Brampton, now we're looking at the price point is at 1.354, which is 35.9% up as compared to last year. And obviously clearly shows the more Brampton market is more harder than the Mississauga. Uh, Total unit sold is 1,519, which is 19.2% less than last year. When you look at the days on market is six. Condo averages in 693,955, which is also up by 43.2%, and condo unit sales 78, which is also up by 39.3%. So let's talk about the Oakville market. Average price in Oakville is 1.783, which is also up by 24.3%. Total units sold 470, which is less as compared to last year, 33.9%. Average days on market is 9, which is less 40%. Average condo price in Oakville is 728,678, 18.7% less, and the condo sales is 47, which is up by 4.4%. Total months of inventory is just under 1 month. Right now, we're looking into it. When we're talking about the York region, average sales price is 1,563,461, which is up by 31.2%. Total units sold 2,580, which is less by 22%. 11 days is a days on market, which is up by 22.2%. This is positive number, not a negative number, because previously we seen all the negative numbers. And the condo selling at 795,683, which is up by 32.3%. Condo sales is 323, which is down by 12.7%, and just about 1 month of inventory. Just under that, we're able to see that right here. And then we're talking about the Durham region, which is another fastest growing market. Again, as we're looking at Brampton and Durham, the average price is 1,209,374, which is 36% up, and the number of units sold is 1,731, which is down by 14.9%. Days on market is 7, which is 22.2% less as compared to last year. Condo price is 658,151, which is up by 68.7%. And the condo sales is 77, which is also up by 35.1%, just over 2 months of inventory in Durham region as well. So when we're looking at sorry, where we are at right here now, look at the micro market. This chart has been added new into it just for to understand what is happening here in terms of the micro markets when we're talking about. Now, by the way, if you look at the numbers right here, we're comparing February of 2020 with February of 2022. Now, this is just to show the impact of, since we started in the COVID times, what changes have we seen it. So again, mind you, it's not 4 year, it is just for specifically look at it in a COVID time, what happened. Average sales, let's say in a condo apartment market at that time, was sale was like 330, but now the sales are up by 478. Active listing used to be at 366 in Feb, but now in listing is 407. But when you look at the price wise condo in a CO1, which is downtown core, we are talking about average sale price was 840,000, and now in Feb of 2022 is 839,000. So if you look at the price wise, there's not actually a marginal increase in the condo pricing in the CO1, which is like central, core district in Toronto. But when we start comparing with detached in Mississauga, so at that time, the average sales price in the market was 1.233. But in 2 years, we're able to see 1.92. Look at the number or the price increment we have seen in the price point in the detached market in Mississauga only. So that actually, if again, if we look at an average of 7% appreciation or maybe 10% appreciation year over year, it clearly shows that we are way ahead of our what it supposed should have been. So in other words, I can say all the same thing that we are already in the market, the price point. We actually borrowed that appreciation from the future. So what does that mean is that if we continue to be maybe a 7% year over year price appreciation, which is more sustainable, if you're more aggressive and more realistically, we're looking at last maybe 7 to 10 years in GTA, appreciation is coming around about 10%. Then we are looking at still we are way ahead of the prices are still like more, more than that. So that means the appreciation is borrowed from the future. So in case if a market correction happens, in case if because of the mortgage interest rate, I'm just touching upon that right now, which I recently heard that the Bank of Canada has increased the 0.5% or 50 beeps. Mortgage interest rate has gone up, which means even if this negatively impact the market, so even if the market, cracks a little bit, so that means that we have already taken the price or our appreciation from the future, which you are actually implying that in the present. So another market, Whitby, which is again in the Durham region, when we're looking at an average detached property, in Whitby back in February of 2020 was $790,000, but in February of 2022 it's 1.54. When you look at the appreciation we're looking at that time, the total listings was 131 active listings were there, but the inventory has gone down in 2022, but down to 76. And if you look at the months of supply at a 1.15, and in February it is just over 2 weeks. And average sales were like 113, now it's 138. So you look at that, the sales are more, supply is less. Obviously, there's more pressure on where? On the price. Again, in the Whitby market. And we're talking about semi-detached properties with the EO1, which is east side of the Scarborough side in Toronto. The average sale price was used to be 1.244, but now in February of 2022 is 1.525. So on a semi-detached side, the properties have value has gone up. When you look at the unit sales, is like 17, now it's 16, but in the listing 13. So very, very consistent number. But if you take the same way on, let's say on the Peel region, going into Brampton semis, back in 2020, the average semi in Brampton was $733,000. But in February of 2022, just after 2 years, it's 1.262. Active listings were 68. Now the listings 127. Sales were 152. Now it's 166. So clearly it shows that the appreciation has gone way higher what we have seen in the past last 40 years. So 40 years average is around about 7 to 8%. Last 10 years around about 10%. We are still way ahead in this pandemic time, or from a lockdown to now the things are easing off. So from that time to this time in 24 months, so there's a huge change. We're able to see that due to the impact of that. So this is, I hopefully these numbers a little bit more. I'm sure these are surprising to you and shocking a little bit as well. But at the same time, that these numbers are there, we are analyzing this to understand that if there is today, we're looking at a lot of appreciation happen, maybe there is a possibility that we actually have borrowed the appreciation from the future, which means like what happened in a CO1 condo market, the appreciation did not happen in last 2 years. In this pandemic time, why it's maybe people wanted to need more space, they wanted to go out, they don't have to go to the job site, I mean the workplace, they were working from home. Because of all that reasons, there's not much appreciation we're able to in last 2 years. And then every else like outskirts, at the suburbs, or I will say 905 numbers, we are able to see that either if it's a Peel region or maybe in a Durham region, we are seeing there is a huge increase in the price appreciation. Now let's talk about one more important. I'm going to talk about an average sale price. So this chart is again my favorite chart. Why? It's more visual, I'm able to see it and you connect the dot. This is like November 17. Now it's not a pandemic time, we're talking going back in November of 2017. After that, a minor correction happened at that time. I hope everybody remembers, in April of 2017, a fair housing plan, 16-point fair housing plan was introduced. And after that, the market softens a little bit at that time, and then went down to 17, that it was under 750. And but then it started just round about up till, I would say, January of 2021, we were under a 1 million mark. And since then, what happens after a Feb of 2021, which is exactly, we're talking about 1 year. Now the market is continuing to be stay like not only a mark of like a million, but 1,005,000, then 1,010,000, 1,015,000, and then in the month of Feb we actually crossed 1.3 million. So that's the first time we have seen that sort of a price. And you can see that when I say always talk about like 6 to 7% price appreciation, if you draw a straight line, that line should, I mean, pardon my exact straight line, but you know what I mean, that if you draw that line, that irregular steady appreciation, it should have been somewhere out here. Again, we are way ahead of that. So this is what I was referring to, that we borrowed the appreciation from the future. This is what we're talking about right here. Now, am I saying that going to be a huge correction in that? No, we're not saying that, because that obviously uncertain. But at this time we say, if it happened, that clearly an indication that we borrowed the appreciation from future. This is a 4 year, sorry, 2017. So five, actually previous 5 years, the number of units sold in the Toronto real estate, for the month of Feb. So you'll be able to see that the units sold, is 9,000, was obviously, it is like obviously lesser than last year, but definitely more than previous 4 years. When we look at the active listings in 2017, was obviously, in 2017, when after that, in April, fair 16-point fair housing plan came up. At that time, well, the shortage of listings were there, but since then, after that, it was always more. And now this is the second lowest, if you see that, in last 6 years. But average price, you look at that, how it actually have climbed up so much from 18,875, and after that plan, it actually gone down to, say, in 700s, and then it came back in 2020 to 900. 2021 last year was at over just about $1 million, and in 2022 it's over $1.3 million average price in GTA and all property types. And then we talk the months of inventory. Again, we are talking about the same thing. It's the second lowest in last, previous 5 years. We'll be able to see that. Again, it shows again the demand and supply depth. That the disparity still, it's there. Now let's talk about, the last, the monthly sales data. We're going to talk about number of sales which are done, active listings, month of inventory, average price, and days on market, which is kind of a summed up of all that, comparing with 2021 with 2022. I mean, it's an easy, but then you can also look at it month by month, that what exactly changes are able to see in 2021 till actually February of 2022, what changes we have seen that. So having said that, I mean, with that, I'm done with the stats, but at the same time, I just wanted to reiterate, one more thing, that because the price has gone up, um, a lot of investors, a lot of first-time home buyers are shifting the gears. So instead of looking into the property, those who are obviously price point is like very, very high, investors start moving from either a resale, a houses or a condos, to probably going into the pre-construction, which is becoming a very, very strong, market, again as well. Could be a great strategy if you have the cash you've been saving, but you're not in a, and if it doesn't make sense to go into the market, investing in a pre-construction condo, is definitely one of the strategy you can think and look into it. There are a lot of projects came up right now in the market. They are there, and few more are coming as we're gonna come into March, and we are in March. Some few projects are coming in March, so stay tuned for that as well. And even a first-time home buyer thinking about not just for, for the investment purposes, but again, if they are building up their, maybe a down payment, or maybe their incomes are getting better, or the saving up a little bit more money, so they are start investing into the pre-construction, condo market, because eventually, if then the things will open up, in case if they need to come back to work, do they have any place to stay and live in town as well? So again, something to think about. And if you guys have any question, you can feel free to reach out to me. I'm open to discuss, as you guys know that. And if you have any question, reach out to me. I'm just a one phone call, one email, or maybe one text away. I look forward to connecting with you again, with the March, stats, and looking at what impacts this, 0.5%, or a 50 beeps which have gone up. What impacts the market in the month of March? We will look into in April. Till that, stay tuned, and hopefully you join, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, looking at the numbers which I post on the weekly market updates, and also the real estate, tips and tricks in there too. I look forward to connecting you next month again. Till that, have a great one. We'll talk soon. Bye bye.